Hello and welcome to another podcast with me, James Walters, owner of Border Terrier Stanley and promoter of all things dog friendly via our Dog Friendly magazine and website. I'm here with Steve Bennett, long-time owner of Whippets and founder of the Dog Friendly business in 2003. The Doggy Podcast with Steve and James. In this week's podcast, we chat to Dave Ford of the well-subscribed YouTube channel, Dave's Countryside Walks. Dave was a keen walker and dog owner about 5 years ago, started documenting his walks as videos on YouTube. His dog Logan has become the star of the show with his zoomies and spins as short intervals for the well-documented routes. These started around Dave's local area of Dorset and New Forest, but he's gradually spread to other counties and he has now amassed a great following of 7,000 subscribers and created 276 videos. As of yesterday, I think you've got 1 million views, haven't you, Dave?
That's right, yes. Had a little glass of wine to celebrate that.
So, Steve, why do you think Dave's videos are so popular?
I think there's a few reasons, actually. Firstly, as we'll learn and as I've read about Dave, he covers in the main the New Forest and Dorset. So I think it's attractive and interesting to people that live locally who want to find new routes to walk with their dogs. And there aren't that many. I'm sure we'll find out from Dave if there are more than I think there are, but there aren't that many YouTube channels with walks that are really considering some of the requirements when you have a dog with you. So is there a style, or are there styles? Are there livestock running around, such like? I think so. I think it's of interest to locals. It's very much of interest to people who are planning a holiday to that area and want to know places where they can walk with their dogs. But I think wider than that, I think it is of interest because, you know, the countryside that we have around us is so beautiful, and we live in such busy and stressful times that to watch a relaxing video of a gentleman walking with his whippet is actually soothing and relaxing, and I guess in a way similar to other programs on telly that we are enjoying so much at the moment, like Gone Fishing with Bob Mortimer and Paul Whitehouse, and of course Ted. I think it's what we're looking for.
It's great to have you here with us today, Dave.
Yep, lovely to be here. Thank you very much for inviting me onto your podcast.
And just a little bit of a summary on the videos. They've got everything. They've got obviously the walks documented, but they've got music, they've got history, and they've got dogs and even jokes. And an amazing amount of videos that you've created so far with your dog Logan. How did all this start, Dave?
Well, as you mentioned in the introduction, about 5 years ago, I was watching a few walk with me style videos made by other folk on YouTube, and I thought to myself, well, I wouldn't mind having a go at that. And I wasn't aware of anyone else that made sort of walking with your dog videos covering areas within the New Forest. And so that's how I started. I wanted really to make films that promoted the actual walk and provided interesting information about aspects that I came across along the route, but also to be presented in a very relaxed and light-hearted style and produced very much with a dog walker in mind. But I had no background in film production or film editing or really any idea how to present myself on screen. I just went ahead, bought some very basic camera kit and started off in areas that were local to me. And of course, having Logan with me, the dog, meant I could have a bit of company, and I often used him as a prop by saying things to him rather than to the viewer. And then over the years, I've just upgraded the equipment, become a bit more confident, I think. Studied a lot following tutorials on the internet, although I must admit, when I look back at some of my earlier content, it does make me cringe a little.
Yeah, and Logan is a bit of a star of it, but you've got other dogs as well. Who are they, and why does Logan get the job as the chief video maker?
Yes, Logan's very much the star, and he's been with me on the channel right from the start. He's an 8-year-old red fawn whippet, lovely temperament. He's not a nasty bone in his body, and he's very obedient. He's got a great recall. He actually had a successful career in the show ring as well as the obedience ring. But, he knows what to do out on a shoot. He sits when I need him to, keeps close to me when I need it. And he's very laid back. But, he can put on a show when needed. For example, when I'm filming whippet zoomies, because remember, a 5 or 6 mile walk can easily take 5 hours or so to film, setting up tripods, taking still photos, waiting for the sun to come out from behind a cloud. So I need a dog that's happy to wait around. And then I've got Fiver. He's my 3-year-old fawn brindle whippet. And he's appeared on a few videos in situations where I've been filming, say, 3 days in a row. And I'd give Logan a rest on day 3. And then finally, there's my old boy, Monty, who's 10 years old, another fawn whippet. He's never actually appeared on a walking video, but he's retired from a very successful obedience career. So that's the 3 of them.
You're very into whippets.
Yes, only ever had whippets. Yeah,
which Steve is as well. So you've got some.
Yeah, we're kindred spirits. Lovely breed as well.
Yeah.
And Dave, I've seen a few of Logan's zoomies. Does he do that in each episode, or is that a thing?
No, I mix it up a bit. A lot of the time depends where I'm filming. If I'm filming where there's a beach with sand, well, that's perfect. He loves the feel of sand underneath his feet. Or if there's a nice open area, sometimes, it's the walk, it just doesn't fit in. So I try to sort of mix it up a bit.
Okay. That's a bit of a tease for people to look out for the zoomies and the videos, I thought. Tell us about the areas you've documented. I understand New Forest and Dorset. How many have you done in these local counties, and what about further afield?
Yeah, I started off solely in the New Forest, which is local to me. I think I've done something like 96 videos there. And then I branched out into Dorset. That's become very popular. I think I've done about 93 videos there. I think I've done about 58 in the rest of Hampshire. Off the top of my head, something like 12 in West Sussex, 11 in Wiltshire. And I think recently I did my first one in Somerset.
What are some of your favourite videos and walks, Dave? And I guess also from the viewings, what are the favourite ones of your viewers?
Yeah, it's a question I'm often asked, actually. I think my favourite areas to film are along the Jurassic coast, walking along there on a sunny day with blue sky, Mediterranean blue sea and stunning scenery. That takes a lot of beating. Although, of course, if I'm on the southwest coast path, Logan's obviously got to be on a lead. The ones with the most views are really the ones that are filmed at popular locations, Lyme Regis, Durdle Door, Swanage, Lymington, those sort of places. Although I did do a series on New Forest river walks where I basically followed the course of an entire river, and that's been quite popular.
What are some of the reasons people watch your videos? Is it to guide them on walks or just to understand the area?
There's quite a number of different sort of cohorts of viewers. There are the regulars and the subscribers, and then there's those that are local to the area. There are holiday makers and tourists that perhaps looking to come to the area with their dog and looking for ideas for walks. Quite a few overseas viewers, a number of expats, perhaps wanting to get their fix of the homeland. And obviously there's a fair number of people that they can't get out into the countryside for whatever reason, either through disability or anxiety, but they still want to view. And then there's some folk that just enjoy their weekly video. I mean, there's not much on television these days, and at least they'll know they'll get a hopefully enjoyable and relaxing view. And then, of course, there are the fans of Logan. They love watching him enjoy his dog dips and stops for blackberries and eating the odd crisp or two in the pub at the end of the walk. But it's great. I mean, I often actually get recognised by viewers when I'm out filming. Actually, cover it myself. It's probably Logan they always recognise first. And I've started now to hand out a limited edition Dave's Countryside Walks badge to anybody that I meet as a souvenir.
David, you mentioned some of your long distance viewers. I mean, how far afield are they?
Oh, yes. There was a lovely moment. I was filming at Lyme Regis a year or two ago, 8 o'clock in the morning. I was down by the harbour before anyone else was up, and I thought I had the place to myself. And I then heard out someone shout, "Hey, you're Dave, and that's Logan." And it was an American accent. And sure enough, it was a chap and his wife that were over from New Hampshire in the States on a month's holiday. And basically, they'd viewed a lot of my videos beforehand just to get an idea of places to walk. So it's a small world for sure.
So how long are these videos in time, and the length of the walks in general, to give people an idea, Dave?
Average about 22 minutes. This is the videos. They can be as little as 18 minutes, but can be as long as 35 minutes. It really depends on the content. The distance of the walks can vary between 3.5 miles to 7 miles. So, a bit of variety, but that's the sort of idea.
Dave, why are these videos helpful to dog walkers particularly?
Well, they're very much filmed with the dog walker in mind. When I'm actually designing the route, they're normally circular routes. I try to avoid roads. If there are any tricky styles when I'm out, then I'll point them out and maybe give an alternative route as a guide. And I'll often mention if I think it'll be muddy in the winter. In most of the scenes, the viewer will actually see Logan off lead jogging alongside me. But if there are livestock, then I'll mention it and you'll see him on a lead. And I'll also point out, of course, if there's a pub or a cafe along the way, and if it's dog friendly or not. And another thing I'm always keen to show are dog dips, either a stream or a safe river, not just for the entertainment for the viewer, but also as information for dog walkers. They like to know that on a hot day there's the ability to for a dog drink.
When you do these walks, so I assume you'd get them done in the summer months.
Yes, I generally only film between March and November when the weather's reasonable. I always need very good light for my camera. And obviously the countryside usually looks a lot better then, less mud. And also because there's so much stopping and starting, and trying to operate a camera equipment in the cold is tricky enough, even in the summer, but it's harder in the winter. And it's not fair on Logan expecting him to stand still in freezing conditions, even if he has got his coat on.
Before you go on these walks, do you do any research to find out about the area? How much do you look into it?
Yeah, I mean, the research is a really important part of the whole process. And I tend to do that in the winter months, December to February, because it can take 3, 4, sometimes 5 hours to complete all the research and type up the notes. Because a big part of the walk is providing information about the history of places I visit. And if I'm going to be spouting off facts left, right, and centre, I need to be 100% accurate. Having said that, the videos aren't really meant to be full-blown documentaries, just enough information to sort of whet the appetite of the viewer. A typical 21, 22-minute video of a walk in the countryside, starting and finishing at a village, might include, say, 7 minutes wandering through the village at the start, checking out the church, the pub, the village cross and all sorts of things. And then it heads out into the countryside. But for some reason, they often finish at a pub that needs visiting, purely for research purposes, of course.
Is it just you and Logan that do the videos, or have you got help with you behind the scenes?
Most of the time, it's just me and Logan. I'm holding a handheld camera and I've got a tripod. But on a few occasions, my wife Bex has come along and helped out. And those sort of videos where I need to be filmed, getting on or getting off a ferry or a steam train.
How far do you think you'll travel to do videos? Could we see Dave's countryside walks in the Lake District?
Well, I think the furthest I've been is a 2-hour drive, and most of the walks have been between 30 and 100 mile round trip. Yeah, it's not on my agenda to go too far away. I have thought about taking a few days off down in Cornwall and filming, say, 3 or 4 videos there. It'll be a slightly different approach. But I have to bear in mind that a significant number of my viewers are based in the New Forest, Dorset, and Hampshire. So whatever I do, it obviously needs to be an interest to them.
So you mentioned before you hadn't seen something being done similarly, but there been any comparisons cropping up?
I mean, there are plenty of walk with me style YouTube channels, but I'm not aware of that many that are sort of walk with me and my dog. I did see one chap with a channel where he went hiking with his whippet. It was really great, but he seemed to stop making them after a while, which is a shame.
Is there money in this, David? Do you make money out of it? I'm just thinking if somebody else is interested in doing their own
Yeah,
video channel.
not really. Certainly at my levels of views, I receive some income from the adverts that YouTube add at the start of the video, but it really is only a few pounds, and it hardly covers the fuel costs. I probably could make more if I allowed adverts in the middle of my videos, but that's not something that I'm really keen on doing.
I understand you've recently got into doing some collaborations with other video makers, though. Tell us a little bit about that, Dave.
Yeah, in fact, I've just done a collaboration with a lovely lady, Nick, who's got a YouTube channel, Walking the Weird. That's spelled WYRD. She was local to me, and her videos are about walks to ancient stones, castles, interesting history, that sort of thing, in the same area that I cover. So we got together for a walk, and Nick made a video for her own channel. I think it was about a lady smuggler in the New Forest from the 19th century. And Logan and I acted as a guide, showing her some of the locations. And then at the same time, I made a normal countryside walk video with Nick as a guest, with me and Logan. The whole idea was really to encourage viewers to watch each other's channel, and that went out last week, and I've had a lot of positive feedback. So yeah, I might do something similar again.
So what's next for Dave's countryside walks, and what's coming up over the next year? You're coming into the winter planning months, assumably, and I think you said that you do like 52 a year or something, one for each week of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I really feel quite humble that so many people are happy to watch a bumbling old gentleman and his whippet wandering through the countryside. But as you said earlier, 7,000 subscribers now, and just had passed over the 1 million views. It's great. The plan, well, is to continue next year with similar walks, but perhaps more in Wiltshire and Somerset. But I've still got plenty to go at in Dorset and the New Forest.
Because I was looking at places that I would recognise in West Sussex and New Forest and Hampshire, which is kind of areas I know a little bit, dog walks. And I was amazed at how many I didn't recognise or hadn't even heard of the places. So there's a plethora of places for people to walk their dogs and find out more. And even I think on one of the videos you mentioned the Chichester to West Wittering, there's a cycle route for 12 miles. And again, I wouldn't, and you can walk your dog down there. And I wasn't even, aware of that. And we had a caravan in Chichester for some time. So it seems it's kind of almost endless, how much you could do, I suppose. It must be quite difficult narrowing it down to certain walks.
Yes, I mean, when I'm designing a walk, really I'm looking for 3 main points of interest, and then build the walk around that. Once you've added in a few, zoomies and dog dips and blackberry stops, and a few walking scenes, but it's there's got to be some interest in there as well. There are some lovely walks that I could film, perhaps wouldn't quite have the interest and entertainment value for the viewer. So it's getting the balance right, really.
Dave, can you remind everybody how listeners can see the videos and when you release them so they can keep their eye
Well,
open?
the videos can be seen on the YouTube channel. It's called Dave's Countryside Walks, and it's free to subscribe to. There's a brand new video published every Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock. And I've also got a Facebook page, which is also called Dave's Countryside Walks, where I put up pictures from each walk. And I also include a detailed map of the route to follow, and it'll show, places to park, that sort of thing.
Dave, you mentioned on your Facebook page you've got detailed information on the walk so that people can follow it. Why have we not seen a Dave and Logan book?
Probably lack of time. It does take so much time just doing the videos. Allow a day for just going out and doing the filming, and then if you include the research beforehand and the editing afterwards, I'm afraid I'm not the most skilled when it comes to computers. So really, from start to finish, you're probably talking about 3 days really, with everything in. And if you're doing a couple of walks a week in the summer, it's time. Maybe that's something for my dotage to look at.
Thank you so much for being on the podcast today, Dave. We highly recommend anybody who's interested in countryside walks to have a look. Dave's countryside walks are released on a Friday each week. So if you haven't got so much on at the weekend, have a look at them. They've got everything you want, history of the places, music, dogs, and even jokes. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you so much. It's been lovely speaking to you both. I really enjoyed it.
To find out more about Dog Friendly, the Dog Friendly magazine, the Dog Friendly Awards, visit www.dogfriendly.co.uk.